Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Magic Arena Run. Today we are going to be exploring this new paid event. It's called the Edge of Night. So if you want to get the special Eternal Night card styles for Innistrad Midnight Hunt, this is how you get them. It was very similar to the previous Singleton event. I'm starting to think that all these events are going to be Singleton for the most part. Anyway, we do have a special emblem that comes with this one. It's the Nightfall emblem. So it pretty much starts the game as day, whoever turn it is. Then whenever it turns night, you draw a card and lose a life. This happens to both players regardless of whose turn it is. So triggering night at least has an extra bonus. I'm more interested in the fact that the game is going to be night a lot of the time unless you're up against someone who's basically playing a 2 spells deck. So that's actually a consideration. If you have the Singleton 2 spells deck I featured last time, this is a good way to trigger a lot of stuff back to day. Maybe trigger back to day, then hopefully trigger to night and whatnot. But primarily we're focused on the fact that we get very easy nightbound here. So we're gonna cash in a little bit here, and of course, what other set prefers daybound nightbound? Werewolves. Now I will also add an extra note that some people have said that the Singleton black deck that I presented for the previous Harvest Bash actually works here as well. I would have loved to just run this again. It would save me a lot of extra work, but well, content creation is a hungry beast. Anyway, here's a quick look at Singleton Werewolves. Now that doesn't mean we're running every werewolf. In fact, for the most part, I think we aren't running any of the common werewolves. It's mostly the uncommon. It's just the uncommon and rare ones. So let's just list out the werewolves we have. So Outland Liberator is in. Kessig Naturalist is in. Werewolf Pack Leader, not from Midnight Hunt, but it's definitely a werewolf. It's definitely in. Then let's see, Reckless Stormseeker's definitely in. Spell Rune Painter actually worked quite well here. We have a lot of instants and sorceries to cast. Hound Tamer, really good, especially at Nightbound when everything has trample. So, of course, Tovalar has to be in. Primal Adversary, not a werewolf, but a very good way to generate wolves. So that one's definitely in. Varys kind of generates wolves if you do complete the dungeon, so that one gives us a little extra value. We have the Fangblade Brigand, always good. Let's see. Arlen, of course, Arlen's in. And Tovalar Huntmaster, definitely in. So that's our werewolf suite right then and there. I originally had a bunch of the other cards that trigger for day and night, but more often than not that impressed with them. Moonrager Slash, definitely good here because it's almost always night. Unnatural Moonrise, sometimes you have to do it yourself. Sometimes your opponent is very good at making it day, so you have to have a little extra option there. And Cyrul's Packmate, not a werewolf, but it's a wolf that draws a card. We'll definitely keep that. I did say we are keeping a Sunstreak Phoenix. On the off chance that we can get it from night to day or day to night, and this is in the yard, sometimes a little extra value helps. Haven't exactly gotten to test it. Otherwise, for the most part, it's mostly removal and some extra creatures. Always running the best cards, so Essica, Ren and 7, Goldspan Dragon. We have a Burn Down the House as a in case of emergency break glass card. And otherwise, it's pretty much aggro good value. That's pretty much what we're running here. So that's the deck we're gonna go with for this particular run. Not too sure how well we do with this one. I tested this once, a proto version of it. Got to about 3 wins, so that's 2 card styles. I'm pretty much fine with that. We'll try to see if we can push to a. Yeah, because I believe at 1 win you get 2 card styles. 1, 2. Oh no, I got only 2 wins in that one. So, okay, so definitely Florahedron into Naturalist or Liberator. We will definitely get Tovalar next. Definitely keeping this one. Opponent does get to go first. If they don't have a play, we'll probably end up discarding a card. But having a very aggro start is very good. Okay. So they draw. Oh no. We're the ones who draw. In fact, we double draw. Okay, that's a little bit... Okay, actually a bit awkward there. Yeah, I would have expected our opponent... No, they started at 6. No, they did get the draw also. It seems like it's double firing, which is very weird. Anyway, we don't really need... We do need double green eventually, but not quite yet, so we can discard the forest for now. Probably could have just discarded the Tangled Florahedron, just kept the forest, since I'm probably going to end up playing this as a land anyway. Opponent's playing blue-black, so definitely some sort of control. Yeah, see, we drew forest anyway. I might just play Outland Liberator. Because if our opponent's not playing enchantments, this is right then and then there. This is probably the safest one to. It's the you don't feel that bad playing this out quite right away. If our opponent plays a kill spell right now, it doesn't feel so bad losing it compared to say losing the Kessig Naturalist. In fact, if our opponent holds this up on the Tainted Adversary. We are going to Cathartic Pirate that one. Let's force our opponent to actually have some sort of removal for our stuff. It also makes me very appreciative of the second mode of Burn Down the House. Like, if I expect our opponent to be the one that's running the mass removal. Opponent's just foretelling again. That might be a counter spell. So I'm actually going to just play Kessig Naturalist. Let's make our opponent counter it. It could also be a Poison the Cup, in which case, yeah, sure. I'm going to be really surprised if our opponent's just... There has to be something there. Yeah, there's definitely a kill spell. Poison the Cup, that's fine. We'll let that go. As I said, our opponent would have more incentive taking this out first. Also, definitely want to save the Moonrager slash on our opponent's turn. We could have also just double cast this one, like get our... It would have been... And since our opponent doesn't like to cast spells, if we could... Opponent's looking badly at that one. Let's force them to do something else. I don't know if they have the 2 spells for it. I don't think our opponent also wants to let this trigger. Because that's free mana. Our opponent could just be running kill spell. Oh, no, it's just into the royal. Let's see. Target wolf gets forced. Trample until end of turn. We'll let that resolve. I'm tempted to cast this again, but that just flips it. We'll pass. Right now, there's no incentive on throwing it into day quite yet. Opponent goes Bat Whisper. Not looking very good. We'll pass, make sure they don't have anything else. Follow it up with a Moonrager Slash. I might hold this up in case we draw something. Like, the difference in damage right now, not so much. So we'll just hit our opponent with that. Reckless Stormseeker. Definitely a nice flip. Opponent probably has opponent probably now has blood in... Oh no, they can't be running blood in the snow. They're not running... Or if they're running blood in the snow, they forgot to put the snow-covered lands. Winged Words. Ooh, interesting. I think our opponent was playing it so much like a control deck, but they're actually an aggro evasive deck. Very interesting. And opponent concedes. It looks like well, welcome to the world of Singleton, where you cannot rely on consistency. Now, I like our opponent's game plan having a lot of card draw spells, but generally not a good idea to be relying on just 1:1 removal. You kind of want to have some extra gas to go with it. So we got 1 win. Yeah, we did not get 3. We only got 2 wins last time. We can only afford to lose once. So... But I'm hoping the few tweaks I made... before it was slanted more to red. It was just had a lot more removal. But I tweaked it up a bit. I also cut some of the more extraneous cards. So this one is very sketchy. We get a play with fire. Can't really play anything else. I'm willing to keep this only because it's very unusual for our... I'm actually tempted to just burn our opponent now so that we draw the card on our turn. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, we'll take the Evolving Wilds. It gives us an extra shot at the mana. So if our opponent is the one that doesn't have the follow-up, they get the draw, we get the draw, we get the regular draw. And we play Evolving Wilds. And that's that. Now, that said, we have a very sad clear shot. Although it does combo a bit. Opponent goes for Magda. Could have waited on that one. I could have waited on that one personally. Never mind, there's a Royal Eruption. Definitely not letting Magda stay alive. I could have opted also to just play Spell Rune Painter, but I don't want our opponent to have a quick turn 4 play. We all know what happens if green hits 4 mana and above. Opponent is forced to play a Primal Adversary for no benefit. We can play the Spell Rune Painter for now. We'll probably take an early hit. We can technically block, but there's a good chance that this gets burned. We kind of need one... They could have their own clear shot, which would be annoying. We have the burn down the house option, but we need to draw mana for it. I am probably going to take the hit. See what our opponent's follow-up is, because opponent's follow-up is Eska's Chariot. We hit the Rockfall Veil. Let's swing first, see how our opponent does it. Opponent just takes it. Okay, that's fine. We're gonna be taking a lot more damage here, but we kind of want to wait for our opponent to activate Eska's Chariot so we can nuke something. If our opponent doesn't have Ren but has Goldspan Dragon, that's actually fine, because the burn down the house kind of sweeps everything. Yep, I did not target that one, so you don't have any mana yet. And because of the trigger, my Spell Rune Howler is actually going to live. I am taking 8 though, so that there is a price for it. Please cash in something. Vespera Sentinel, perfect, perfect. Cash it in, cash it in. We're gonna swing with the Spell Rune Painter because it's gonna die anyway. Then we can just wipe our opponents. Also note it's daytime, but oh, make sure to click the correct one. It'll be a disaster if you click the wrong one. Also a shame if it was still night. This would have the Spell Rune Hunter would have survived. Opponent has a Moonveil Regent. And opponent's gonna get first dibs. I'm tempted to swing, but if our opponent has any haste, and yeah, he does have so I have to hold back. I could have just cast Moonveil Regent that way. Yeah, slightly unfortunate that our opponent got all the damage in. it does validate burn down the house as a reset switch, but we are generally slower than... We have our own S-Class chariot, as you can see here. If our opponent goes to activate Den and swings, I will have to choose between nuking the Moonveil Regent and nuking Den. I'm actually going to nuke the Den of the Bugbear first. Okay. Technically, that was actually scary. We could have gone down to 0. So I can swing with this. Make a Moonveil Regent. 1, 2, 3, 4, then... Unfortunately, this ETB's tapped. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. That's plausible, actually. Not sure if I want to discard cards quite yet, so we're gonna go Werewolf Pack Leader into Moonveil Regent. Not so sure if we can survive this though. Like, any burn spell kills us. If our opponent switches to Knight, it kills us actually, so yeah, it's kind of good game. All our opponent has to do is just pass the turn. And it has to Ignis Inspiration. Okay, that's good game. So... we were unfortunately a bit slow on the trigger there. Also note that it's really about landing your bombs. So green-red is a good color mix in terms of having a lot of good bombs. Mono-white is a good option as well, though it kind of relies on your opponent being slow off the get-go. Anyway, let's see if we can at least get one more win, get half our gold back. Oh, I forgot to also show out the deck list. There we go. So yeah, we're definitely keeping this one. We'll probably lead on just the temple. I might just go for double, usually double red. We do have a few double green cards, but green is our primary color, so we're more likely to hit a... So probably turn 2 Sarul's Packmate if we don't have anything better to do. Yeah, we don't have anything better to do. So this is red, set it to red. It'll maybe slightly awkward if we draw into Werewolf Pack Leader, but we'll take it. Opponent has Lair into Ranger class, so... Yes, this is quite awkward now. I forgot all about the Snakeskin Veil. I can just play the Packmate, but I won't be able to cast anything anyway, so I'm actually going to just lead off on Spell Rune Painter. Let's see if our opponent has the... Oh, opponent's running Jund colors. Generally not a fan of triple mana. Triple colors in Singleton. A lot of things can get messed up. Yeah, we just run the Surul's Packmate right away. There we go. And we pass the turn. We give ourselves the option to nuke something our opponent has. If our opponent just swings and wants to trade with the Wolf, that's fine. Toski is a bit annoying. Also kind of want to protect stuff, but that's not gonna quite happen. Actually, you know what? Let's let the trade happen. Because next turn, Fangblade as a 4/5 is a really good one. Yeah, I have too many cards right now, so we're definitely gonna go with Fangblade first. And we can blank one removal spell. If our opponent double casts, it does make it annoying. Probably block with the spell Rune Howler. Opponent could have a pump effect, but ours is technically a pump effect as well. See what opponent does. They haven't cast anything yet as well, so that's okay. Pass to damage. Play with fire. They might have another follow-up burn spell. If they have another follow-up burn or removal, they have to fire it right now. Power word kill. Oh, they had to use the big gun for it. Okay, that's perfectly fine for us. Yeah, we get the flip down, which is sad. Sad, but not too annoying. Yeah, unfortunately, if I had one extra land, I would be able to hold something up untapped. As it is, I have to play the Moonveil Regent. Might as well get some damage going right now. In fact, I'm probably okay with letting our opponent start drawing a few cards as well. Because this has the potential to outrate. Well, our opponent could have the regular kill spell, which would be annoying. Opponent not letting me block yet. They definitely have. Well, oh, they have Inscription of Abundance going for the big fight effect. Okay, so now we have a big race on our hands. We might as well just ping our opponent. Wow. So we need to catch it. Well, I wouldn't say catch. Gives it haste. I guess we might as well race. Like, sure, we're gonna take 6 damage from this next, but we do have we have some options between the Clear Shot and the Thundering Rebuke, depending on what our opponent drops. Vorinclex would be a real big issue. So far, our opponent hasn't gotten to there yet. That might... Nope, Tovolar's Huntmaster. So I could swing with this. This doesn't pump the entire team, though. Oh wait, I can just nuke it right now. Target creature you control. Target creature you don't control. So this has trample. We definitely need to hold one creature back. Actually, I think we can afford to. Because I need our opponent to start trading. But this is actually looking bad for us right now. Now, technically, we could pump this 3 times if our opponent doesn't have a blocker. Now let's see if our opponent has a pump effect. We are just technically sets it. Okay, that's good. That's good game. Yeah, the timing is very annoying. So we did highlight some of the issues with the green red deck. Basically, it has problems with indestructible creatures. No surprise there. So and it does take a while to get going. So we didn't exactly do very well with this one. We did get at least two Eternal Night frames. So on this average, I'm going to probably be spending 14,000 gold. That's not impressive. We need to do better. Is there any way I can change the deck a bit? The Tangle Trap is a bit awkward. I put it there because mono white tends to have a lot of flyers, so I wanted to have that option. But that's sometimes the nature of Singleton. Sometimes you run into an opponent that has all their ducks in a row and you don't. So if you're looking for consistency in this event, honestly, the best way to be consistent here is to do a monocolored deck. At least your mana is not gonna let you down for the most part. You can afford to splash a little bit. This one extremely slow for what I want. We do have a Briar Bridge tracker. We are going first. Fine, I guess. We also have a Royal Eruption, so I guess I'm willing to go first here. So definitely naming red because we have the Sunstreak Phoenix. I'll do it. And if our opponent doesn't play anything, I'll just place an Instrument of Bards. We now hit Tovolar, so we named this at red. I need to keep my options open. Instrument of the Bards is very good. It's a very good starter in the sense that it's a good way to keep it's a good way to look for particular creatures. Some awkwardness here if I want to run the Kazandu Mammoth. I might not even run it immediately. So, and I might consider actually just running as a land. Again, our opponent's most likely playing mono green, so yeah, we're starting. This is the awkwardness of running even two colors in Singleton. Like, I'm probably gonna end up just playing Briar Bridge Tracker next turn. I could also play the Sunstreak Phoenix, force our opponent to have some sort. Okay, let's see. Okay, opponent's not that fast. So I'm actually gonna just run this guy out. Pass the turn. Also, it only puts it in hand, so unless it's super late game, you are spending a lot of mana to get there. Create a 1/1 elf.
Go, earn your renown.
So we probably will just play with fire on this guy right now. See what our next. Oh yeah. Hold on. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I was thinking Fading Hope. That's my bad. So definitely want to play. Let's swing this. We'll swing first. I don't think our opponent's gonna give up. Oh, they're gonna give up the Storm Shambler? Sure. So probably gonna not run Kazandu Mammoth. We'll probably just play the Sunstreak Phoenix. Opponent's actually ticking us up really high. It looks like they want to shooter a particular Silver Bullet creature. Saret, the Viper's Fang. Doesn't really affect everything else. Also, our opponent doesn't have quite a way to tap stuff down yet, so. But the death touch is going to be annoying over time. If our opponent wants to trade the Saret for a Briarbridge Tracker, it's fine. Do they have a way to tap? They have a way to untap. Yeah. And we might as well drop this now because it's still night. And this only affects other creatures, so something to keep in mind though, it's only goes Primal Adversary. It's still a 5/4. Even now this one can tap down, so we do have a death touch creature here. This is how much to fight? It's 4 to fight. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Not quite enough. 5, destroy target artifact. Well, we do have a use for it now. Like, I can swing with everything, expect this to die, just claim my wolves and go for it. Or I can wait it out a bit. Yeah, it's just swing with these two for now. I don't have a winning plan quite yet. Yeah, opponent's just gonna take it. Probably just run the Sarul's Packmate. And this is... there's no limitation on what... I could also force it to daytime now just so that we benefit a bit from this. It shrinks this down a bit though. Yeah, let's not do it quite yet. We can force an off timing. Like if our opponent's gunning for a 6, we can force our opponent's timing off. They're going for a 5. Consuming blob. But we should have it from here. They got 3 mana. Unnatural Moonrise is a sorcery, something we need to remember. Well, never mind. They might have a Snakeskin Fan, which would make things annoying. Untap. It's already untapped. It doesn't tap it down. So it just has haste, which is questionable. If this doesn't seal it now, it seals it later. Yeah. And making sure to give... yeah, I figured I would give that one the trample. There we go. We got that first game right off the... right early. Let's see. We did get the benefit of the Tangle Trap that time. Primarily, I put it there specifically for Maul of the Skyclaves. Only because I'm so annoyed with losing to that card. So at least we're in the running for another 2 styles. I think in terms of on-screen, I think this would be the last run. Don't know. I'm not too sure how... I probably would usually want to do this off-screen for the most part. So here we can probably just drop... If our opponent doesn't have a starting play, we will be ending up discarding a card unless... Oh, they did have a starting play. In that case, so do I. Now a little bit awkward because I'm probably gonna end up having to do a Royal Eruption on this turn. Oh, not quite. Okay, so I can Tangled Florahedron for the time being. I'm also tempted to just cast the Tangled Florahedron, set up my 3 mana. Yeah, we'll do that. If our opponent plays something we have to kill, we can still kill it. Yeah, our opponent played a Crawling Baron, so that is not an Old Growth Troll. So the point's just unpack mate. Okay, so... Let's see if our opponent has a second spell? Okay, something to consider. I might end up just... Oh, do they have a fight effect? Okay. Well, at least we got that out of the way when it was most important, so we can just Royal Eruption. Evolving Wilds like how to say this? Opponent hits the Esca's Chariot, so there's another target for Tangle Trap. Yeah, I think I still want the double green. Now, ideally, I want to cast this on our opponent's turn so we can ensure that it flips to Knight. So I'm actually gonna fire off the Moonrager Slash first, nuke one of the cats. See if our opponent has a response to this. Like, our opponent might I'm really concerned our opponent has a Snakeskin Veil. They're crewing right away. We're gonna destroy the target artifact while it's not a creature. Basically, it's anything to dodge a Snakeskin Veil. Now, it's not perfect. We ended up spending a lot. At least we can drop a 4/5 next turn, but we're technically still behind. We would need at least 2. Yeah, opponent has a Battle Mammoth. We hit our own Chariot though. Yeah, it's not a good play to play Arden the Moon's Fury. In fact, it kind of does nothing. Chariot might actually be the best play now, as weird as it sounds. I could also play the Fangblade Eviscerator. Gives us a 4/5. Yeah, let's just play the Esca's Chariot first. Try this. Opponent hits a Ranger class. Aren't we glad we got rid? Aren't we glad the Chariot's not there anymore to cause us problems? No, the problem is the Battle Mammoth is the one that's going to cause us problems now. I will need to have a Swarm Shambler. It just makes targeting awkward, but if our opponent swings with both, I just nuke the hit token. If our opponent swings with this, I just take the hit. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so definitely let that go. We have to take the hit, unfortunately. There is no point in just chump blocking at all. Could also have been the Gnarled Professor, which would have been really concerning, I guess. Guess what? Also flipped today. Our opponent, yeah, opponent did cast 2 spells. So this comes down to 3/4. I might end up just having to cast this. Make two wolves.
Yearning of the wild and intense. I must resist its call.
Trade the two cats. Yeah, make more wolves because we at least have a plan for those. If our opponent trades the tokens off, I'm fine with it. Unfortunately, it looks like our opponent might just go for our face at this point, so we may have to consider taking out some wolves here. If our opponent swings the Battle Mammoth at Arlin, we got a free pass there. We're not out of trouble, but at least it's kind of a free pass. Like, I can play Gnarled Professor, yeah. Basically mono green big stuff. That's kind of why mono black is really highly favored here. Because mono green is very good at playing the long game. You don't have the consistency of like of control as it is. Opponent is going for us, so that's a problem. You know what? We might as well not block. And we play Sculptor of Winter.
On my signal, hunt begins.
Like, I can cast Earl's Packmate, draw a card. It makes this a 4/4, but it just sets up a block on the Gnarled Professor, which is fine. I kind of want to drop it on Tovolar, but I'm going to end up chumping out quite a bit here. Might as well draw the card now, see what we hit. Yeah, we were missing a lot of land drops. If I knew we were going to miss that many land drops, I would have just waited for this to flip, but oddly enough, we were probably better off in day for now. Let's see if our opponent does have the mana to... Probably... Yeah, actually here comes the weird part. I needed to block one extra damage. Because now all our opponent has to do is not cast anything. In fact, our opponent could win by passing the turn, but the fact they're going to go for the Mascot Exhibition, we actually kind of survive a bit. Actually, it means Tovolar is going to kill us if we end up casting that. Not that it matters, our life is so low at this point. Yeah, we won't have enough blockers for that. So question, why did I not play mono green? Well, the answer there is because for a lot of Singleton events, I have been playing mono green. Usually Cascade Singleton, I play a lot of mono green, so I kind of wanted to avoid mono green. Here I just wanted to show what it's like playing red green because that's the theory. And if it doesn't pan out as well, that's actually fine because it means I learned something. If you're watching, you learned something, and you probably don't have to go through the learning process I went through. You already learned directly that it doesn't exactly pan out. Definitely keeping this one though. Not so sure what. I'm not so sure why I have this one. It is a good utility card for the most part. It's a shame I will have to... Well, Stonebinder's Familiar. Okay, everyone draws cards. Now this does set us up for Royal Eruption or Moonrager's Slash. Let's see what our opponent does with the Stonebinder's Familiar. Thunderous Orator. Oh, this is just plain... I say plain mono white, but this could be a lot more than that. So, something to consider here. We're not going to play the Outland Liberator right away, because I do have another way to play it. I have Cathartic Pyre also, so I kind of want to wait on it. No, let's not wait. Let's just bolt this. Let's just nuke this now. The Righteous Valkyrie. So I guess we're at least we're able to answer things 1:1. Adeline is going to be a problem though. So whenever you attack, and unfortunately, if I had another red, I would consider holding back since I can nuke Adeline. At this rate, I have to nuke the Stonebinder's Familiar just to keep this small. Well, there's our red source. It's a bit on the late side though. I wonder how our opponent responds to this. Like, alternately, I could have just held back and cast a pair of goblins. That way, I can block both of them. But that felt like a bit of a waste. When it is in the tank right now, they did hit 3 mana, which is usually where most of the best mono white spells are. It's a bit too early to be tanking like this. Could also just be a bad connection. So sometimes things like this happen. Maybe it's a good time for me to start eating dinner. It's okay. This run is going to end relatively quickly. I got a bad feeling about this. I would not be surprised if our opponent's actually playing a multicolored deck, did not draw their second color, and actually that is another consideration when you're running 2-color decks. So tempting to actually... It's so tempting to cast Arlen and swing immediately. The best play is really just to cast Sarul's Packmate. I'm actually going to hold back swing. I do have the option to pump this up to a certain degree, and if not, I have the option to Cathartic Pyre if it gets there. But it looks like our opponent might have tuned out. Okay, for those of you who feel very strongly about opponents who do this, what you do is you click on Report the Bug, make sure you capture the log, and maybe take a screenshot of what's going on. Oh, looks like our opponent's back. So yeah, our opponent's back. So see, not too much to worry about. And opponent's taking it. They rightfully assume that I have a combat trick of sorts, and it actually benefits them for me to swing through, because it means they can swing for free. They have an expel. Okay, that's fine. Let's see. Do I want to cast anything? Actually, no. We'll let that through. Makes another token. Yeah, I guess we actually just take the damage for now, because we're about to cast our Sarul's Packmate and have an alternate option for nuking our opponent. Well, there's also Moonveil Regent, but we kind of need to draw the card without spending our other stuff quite yet. Not going to cast Arlen quite yet, because we are holding on to something. I actually suspect that our opponent is playing mono white. What most likely happened there, opponent had a connection issue. Not so sure if there's a one mana pump effect. I'm trying to think about this. We'll find out. We're gonna find out now. Oh, there is. Oh no, there isn't. I'm very sure. I'm very sure there isn't. At least not at instant speed. So there we go. We cleared that part up. Gonna cast the. Oh. I think I. Yeah, ideally it's cast Kovalar first. Technically, the ideal place to cast Moonveil Regent. It is a maze, so I don't have to. But I'd rather. This is probably one of the best non-werewolf cards, so I really want to fire it off last. And let's see, if our opponent plays a second spell, this flips anyway. Hallowed Priest, but no life gain. Am I in a hurry to nuke this one yet? Because I'm about to have a Moonveil Regent, so I can also just choose. I'm probably just gonna nuke the Fearless Fledgling now, because this has a chance to grow, but it's not quite there yet. So this shrinks. That was expected. Actually, it actually works better for us, because by shrinking, we get to spread the love a little bit. Now this, I do have to wait for night, so that's something to consider. I also don't want to quite swing into Pilgrim into a token. Technically, I should. If I can clear the board out more, it makes it easier for Moonveil Regent to be live. And if not, our opponent is... Yeah, we have to force our opponent to give up whatever they have on the board. They're just taking it. Now at 6 mana, it's very likely our opponent has something. Opponent has Leonin War Leader. It's fine. Our opponent could swing with their entire board just to nuke Arlinn. Somewhat sketchy. In fact, I might let them all live, because it does allow me to flip it into night just by having extra wolves. Our opponent might also have a portable hole to nuke that down a bit. Yeah, opponent's considering what's going to happen if he swings with everything. The answer would be... I would just block the Hallowed Priest and the portable hole. Okay. So, one less wolf. But I do have a Primal Adversary to give me extra wolves. So, pass to blocks. No point trading with Pilgrim quite yet.
We go hungry.
We hit our Ren in 7, but we're saving that for later. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Auto pay. Auto pay. So probably the 2 forests. So it misses the upkeep part, so we're gonna hold on that. But now we have a board that can block the War Leader. So that gives us something to do. Opponent now needs to decide between a lot of things, actually. Also, the Forest Wolves are a nice touch. I actually considered Kabira takedown just to mute that one. That's fine. But our opponent can't swing profitably in that case. Well, technically we can't either. Like, if I swing with adversary, opponent just has a Pilgrim in the graveyard that they can use to thin out their deck. But it will get rid of the War Leader.
They prepare for war.
Yeah, I don't think our yeah, I'm really trying to encourage our opponent to... Chump block is fine. Though I feel really bad if our opponent actually spends the 6 mana to get the Pilgrim back into hand. Because that also means it flips to Knight. Though we don't have anything that benefits... Wait, actually we do. Skyclave Apparition. That should nuke the Primal Adversary. Nope, you can't nuke the token. Well, that's fine. It did its thing. Our opponent's probably incentivized to swing with the war. Oh no, they're not. Yeah, might as well reveal, see if we can hit a few more lands. That's fine. So now we have an 8/8. So if we swing with this, our opponent is forced to block. I can make this a 5. Four, 5, 6. I can make it a 6/6. Let's force our opponent to chump block with what little they have. I'm certain they don't want to give up the War Leader. Actually, they don't want to give up any of the cards they have, but they probably have to. Oh, they are going to give up the Apparition. They're just going down to 2. That gives us another token to block any small thing with. Takes our opponent down to 1. Our opponent's gonna need a board wipe. But then we have a Reckless Stormseeker to clear the way. Opponent goes for the Soul Mender a bit late though. Elite Spellbinder. They're not gonna be happy with what they see. Because let's say our opponent takes a Reckless Stormseeker because that gives trample as well. Because I can just make another token and just go for trample. They go for the Moonveil Regent. I wasn't exactly planning to cast that. So these two are just headed for us. Okay, flips it down to days, so no trample anymore. Well, our opponent's down to 3 life, so I am actually incentivized to swing with everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's 5. Because the Knight, if our opponent goes down to 2 life, the Knight flip is fatal. Yeah, opponent says good game. Yeah, sees the writings on the wall no matter what happens. Actually, that critical Knight flip is gonna be usually the one part that messes everything up. If you don't have a way to gain, ironically for our opponent, they had ways to gain life, but Singleton very inconsistent. So I'd be playing the best cards. I would not be playing towards a synergy. If you're playing towards a synergy and you don't hit your synergy, you are in real trouble. That's kind of why mono green's very good. Mono black is also very good. Maybe not necessarily from a synergy perspective, but very good in a control perspective, more or less. So, yeah, we're keeping this one. It does make a lot of the other cards awkward. Yeah, say hello. Okay, at least we did hit our third land. Opponent has to discard a card. And they discarded Feller their retreat, so kind of scary. That said, we will foretell the Demon Bolt. I might be tempted to just play the Primal Adversary as is, but that depends what our opponent has. Catilda, oh that's fine. So definitely we are forced to kill Catilda. It's a good thing we have the way to kill it. My original build for this did not have the Play with Fire and some of the other cheaper spells. Take the token, mute the tracker. So based on this, we drop the Fangblade Breaking because it's night. The next turn we have multiple options. Ideally, I'd like to hit the Clear Shot. Ooh, opponent's playing Naya. So, Clear Shot's actually a very good option for us because we can pay... I'm pretty sure that's just Ward 1. We can pay it. Now, worst case scenario, if we don't hit the land, we can Primal Adversary if we need to. Opponent has Reckless Stormseeker. I don't know if they're Homestead Courage, so they get to hit us back quite a bit and flip it to Day, which makes the Tovolar's Huntmaster a bit sad. It makes the Ren and 7 quite happy though. Actually, we'll swing first. It does have an onboard trick, so our opponent is not gonna block. We're gonna see if our opponent does block with this though.
The entire forest is an army.
Yeah, we need... It's basically a race on who hits 6 first. I suspect our opponent has something big if they're willing to go Naya Werewolves. That said... Yeah, this looks like Naya Landfall / Werewolves. If I wanted the Landfall, I would have just gone the green-white because most of the red is not worth it. So this becomes a 5-5. Let's see if our opponent... If our opponent swings for Ren, I'll let it die. If our opponent swings for us, I'll block it. See if we can produce force a combat trick out of our opponent. Worst case scenario, our opponent has a flyer and they just wanted to get rid of the reach creature all along. Yep, they had the combat trick, but I'm fine with that because it clears this one out of the way. And we did hit our 6 mana. So I probably should have played this first. I might not have needed to play this. Yeah, I definitely would not have needed to play that. So no attacks. Yeah, we did not need to take the extra damage. In fact, we could have benefited from that. So that was a bad sequence. Our opponent could have Toski. Always Toski. Not exactly a good play since you are forced to attack. Like if I block with this, what? Yeah, that just did nothing. 1, 2. I think our opponent did that just to prevent our cards from flipping. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Five, 6, 7, 8. Oh wait, I think that's enough. Yeah, you see a pair of goblins doing its good job. There we go. There we go. That's a much better outcome. That felt bad. All of a sudden, I forgot how to do math. Unbelievable. Never... So, next game is definitely going to be the last. At least we finally got... After this one, I would have already half of the styles. I need to start remembering that I actually once made a report because I did not get styles at one point. Then I was told, oh, that's because you have all of them already. So, need to start mentally counting how many I have. So, I probably would still need to play 3. Hopefully, at most 4 events. Hopefully not that many. This is horrible. This is literally our only action at first. Yeah, we have an S-class chariot, but if anything we learned from Singleton, they generally have early plays. So we'll take the mulligan. This is better. I think I will bin the unnatural moonrise. So turn 1 is probably just gonna play this out. Stonebinder's familiar. Okay, if we draw a... tempting. I was gonna say if we drew... Okay, since we drew the other land, I'm now willing to hold on to Shatter Skull Smashing as a spell. Monk of the open hand. Into Code Spell Cleric. Yeah, this is generally the 2-spell deck that we always encounter. So... we're most likely gonna trade the wolf for something. Battlefield Raptor. Luminarch. It's always a Luminarch Aspirant. Yeah, we have to take it. I'm also... you see a pair of goblins, which is a plan. Because it allows me to block something. It allows me to... Because I can also just play Primal Adversary. Our opponent starts putting the token... Well, they might still swing through it, actually. Yeah, because Spellrune Painter does nothing here. Pair of Goblins, it just makes a bunch of chump blockers. Yeah, let's play this. Unfortunately, we did not win the die roll, so... And our opponent is pretty much playing just 1s and 2s, so... Having only 3 lands was a big benefit for them. Like, if I... So, opponent going for everything. We will... auto block that. Oh wait, no. Hold on. 3, 6, 7. We go down to 1. So we cannot let it flip. Yeah, that was good. That was a good game. So that's pretty much mono white. It's probably the other way to do it. I don't like it in the sense that it requires you to have a really fast start. If we won the die roll there, we would have had much more of a fight. So I guess it's a... And also because I play a lot of Singleton white as well, I kind of didn't want to do it. Yeah, that's just me making excuses off the top of my hat. But yeah, if you want to try... But at least we have a good concept of what it's like to play green-red playing with werewolves. Interesting we got all the left to right looks here. But there you go. That's going to be it for this episode of the Magic Arena Run. If you like what you saw, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on notifications and whatnot. And as always, thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you guys again next time. Take care. God bless. Stay safe wherever you are. Have a great week, everyone. Take care.